All right, ladies and gentlemen, how's it going today? Happy Sunday. God bless. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. If you guys don't know me already, my name is Daniel Diaz. Over the past year and a half now, almost, I've been sending cold emails. We run a lead gen agency called Valente. I'll leave a link in the description. I've been documenting this entire journey so far. Me not even running a business, not even having an agency, to scaling up to 15K a month, and I'll leave a screenshot somewheres just to show you guys. And we are doing this straight by sending cold emails, B2B cold emails. And we also do LinkedIn outbound as well in another package, but our specialty is cold emails, and we've been doing this only cold emails for the last year and a half now. Just so you guys don't think I'm bullshitting you, we have sent probably close to 1 million cold emails so far, booked hundreds and hundreds of appointments for our clients. I'm 21 years old. I dropped out of university to pursue this business, and obviously there's a lot of hardship doing that. But I won't get too deep into that right now. In this video, I'm just going to quickly break down exactly how we actually are getting our results, and just some of the things you guys should be doing as well if you want to run a lead gen agency in 2026. We're actively in the trenches, so we know what we're talking about. We know what we're doing. We're scaling this up. But yeah, guys, the first thing you have to understand before sending any cold emails is infrastructure. And this is basically the first foundation you need in place to send cold emails at scale. Without infrastructure, you have nothing. The first thing you need are inboxes, okay? So right now, we are diversifying our inboxes just because a lot of these companies are getting shut down because obviously Google and Microsoft, they don't want cold emails on their platform, spammy cold emails on their platform. It ruins their reputation. It gets people upset sometimes. There's laws actually around cold emails, and you can get in legal trouble if you send bad cold emails. And most times people don't take action, but we've had instances where people cold email or email us back with like a law, and they're threatening to like sue us or get us into some sort of legal action. You want to diversify your inboxes, okay? And you want to reach an inbox health of 98%. Okay, this means your inboxes are in good conditions. We like to do deliverability tests every single month to make sure our inboxes are healthy and they're all in great conditions. Since then, we've even diversified even more. We're not just doing these two. We also started using Inbox Kit or something like that. We're just diversifying our inboxes a bunch. And, it's just like investing. You don't want to have all of your eggs in one basket. You want to diversify those eggs in different baskets, just in case if one thing gets shut down, we have others to rely on. Next, a 3 to 4 week warm up. This is imperative, okay? If you want your cold emails to actually land in the inbox, you need to let your inboxes warm up for 3 to 4 weeks. Everyone is recommending 2 weeks. That is one thing I see people say, but 3 to 4 weeks is a sweet spot. Okay, do not skip this. Normally, when we onboard a client, between this time right here, we set up their LinkedIn outbound because that doesn't require a warm up. Okay, we just set them up on Lemlist, and what that does, it kind of lets us get an early insight on what their ICP responds to the best, the messaging, the offers. It is a different sort of click to close. Requires more nurturing on LinkedIn, but we just kind of get a feel of it early. Who we're working with, all that stuff, and we get early results without having them to wait 3 to 4 weeks. After it's warmed up, right now we're sending about 500 to 1,000 emails a day, depending on our client. This is an interesting tool we're using, actually. I'll show you guys. It's on our website. I'll leave a link for it in the description, but it is basically an ROI calculator. So what this does is, let's say you're on a call with a client. This works really good with logical people, right? Because they're getting a clear picture of how many emails they need to send, how many of those emails are actually turning into calls, how many emails you need to get there, et cetera, et cetera. So let's just say your client wants to get to 20K a month by sending cold emails. I won't go too deep into this, but check it out for yourselves. Try it out. You can put in the reply rates, industry benchmarks here, how many inboxes you need, how many domains you need, how much it costs per month. Just a bunch of valuable stuff here that gives you an insight on how many emails you actually need to strategically be sending every single month to get X amount of clients or at X amount of revenue. Next, we like to have backup inboxes. This is crucial as well. We like to keep 30% of our inboxes on reserve. And you should do this just because if something does happen, again, with inboxes, you have those backups and you can get those campaigns up and live again while you order more email accounts. We've had instances where there's been a big Google or Microsoft update and our emails stop landing in the inbox. But thankfully, since we have backups, okay, we can softly launch new campaigns without having to wait another 3 to 4 weeks to get more inboxes in. Next is Spintax. Spintax is very important as well, just because it changes the wording of your emails. So Microsoft and Google aren't like these guys are spamming people with the same email. This is our Spintax right here, and this is just some of our copy as well. But basically, whenever you refresh the email, some of the wording here changes. So instead of to prove it works, for example, it says to show you works. And that's just what Spintaxing does. So we have different variations of a sentence. The next is a sequencer. Right now, we're using Email Bison. We were using Instantly before, but as we picked up more clients, we thought it was appropriate to upgrade to Email Bison. And this kind of it's safer because it lets us have our own IP, which is very interesting. Instantly, it is a shared one. And also, with Instantly, we had to pay for each workspace. It was like 99 USD. But with this one, you just pay a flat fee of $500 a month, and you get unlimited workspaces. So we're saving money past 5 clients at this point, if that makes sense. So the next is copy. We have lead magnet campaigns, Loom campaigns, direct pitch campaigns, event campaigns, and creative campaigns. And I'll quickly run through each and every single one of these. So a lead magnet campaign, this is what we're using for our agency to get more clients in. We're basically offering free outreach scripts written on our behalf. These will give you a much better reply rate than, for example, the direct pitch campaigns, just because you're offering something upfront at no cost. All you have to do is say yes or say send it over. And what this does, it gets you more replies, but it's harder to book those meetings because people are leeches for free stuff. People will take the scripts, be like, thank you, and just ghost you forever. No matter if you follow up with them 10, 20 more times with more value. We've seen that before in the past. So they're harder to convert into meetings, yes, but it builds and creates more conversations, which gets us more meetings. So kind of depends on your ICP. And this is something you have to test. Next is Loom campaigns. And this is basically where, let's just say, for a D2C brand, you're on their website, okay, and you specialize in CRO, conversion rate optimization. You'd be like, hey, I was actually on your website, and I noticed a few things that could be fixed. Mind if I send over a quick 2-minute Loom going over this? That's another example. This is good for building trust. But we like to do Loom campaigns, or this Loom angle in our sequence 2s most times. So, yeah, next is direct pitch campaign. This is just like a straight offer. This is just a straight ask. Do you want to set up a quick 15 to 30 minute? Mind if I send over more info? A straight ask. This is best for lead qualifying because the people who do reply are of high intent. They are actively dealing with this problem. They saw the email. They replied for a reason. It was important to them. Okay. This does have a lower reply rate on some instances, because sometimes if your offer is just really strong and unique, reply rates will not matter because your email is just different to everyone else's. So 0.7 to 1% is not uncommon for some offers. We've seen that before, especially targeting enterprise businesses where it's harder to get those replies. Next is event campaigns. This is one that actually gets us the most amount of calls booked, believe it or not, even though it has probably sub 100 leads in this campaign. So we have really high reply rates with these, and for each event campaign we run, we always book 2 to 10 high quality meetings per campaign. An event campaign is basically finding events that your ICP would be attending, scraping that list, and emailing them using that event as the relevance line at the beginning. So for example, if our client's ICP is attending this marketing event for robotics, we would find robotics campaigns, or we would find robotics events with marketing leaders. We would scrape that list, and our first line would be like, hey, I saw you're attending this event. Great work, with a personalized line after. And then we would go into I'm actually attending this event as well. So maybe we can hop on a call before this event happens. And yeah, sometimes our clients don't even go to this event, and we're just like, I saw you're attending this event. And then we just offer, and then do you want to hop on a quick call? The next is creative campaigns. This is one we haven't really tested yet, but it's one we're going to want to use going up into the next couple of months. But a few examples are same name campaigns. And this is basically where you scrape a list of everyone with the same name as you. And then as a relevance line, you can be like, hey, you have an awesome name. Another example would be same nationality campaign. So let's just say you're in a city, or better example, I'm based in Nova Scotia. This campaign, we would scrape a list with everyone else from Nova Scotia that fits our ICP, and we would use our relevance line would be, I saw you're in Nova Scotia, I'm based here too. That kind of ties into the same area. These two are basically the same. The next, the 5 main blocks of cold email. Okay, all of our cold emails are structured around these main 5 blocks. This is the structure. So the first is a relevance line. Who are you and why now? So sometimes we use hiring activity. Sometimes we saw your company while researching LinkedIn. Saw you spoke at this event, which is the event campaign. Saw the title of company name. Those are just a few examples. The next, we would ask a question. This is optional. We like to do it a lot. It's called Poke the Bear by Josh Braun. He was the one who came up with it. But how that would look like in the email is like, wanted to ask you, and then we would ask that question. That question would have to make them think about their pain. And then after they read that question, then it would be our offer. And that's the offer statement. So we help X companies achieve Y result in Z time, or without Z rotten thing. And what we like to do in our offer statements, it's new, easy, safe, and big. So your offer needs to sound new and unique, especially if your offer is a saturated offer, like lead gen agencies, okay? Has to sound quick. Like, is it tangible? How quick can it be done? You have to make it quantifiable, okay? Has to be big. Has to be a big outcome without making it seem salesy or over-exaggerated. Next is social proof. So state the company you worked with previously. We helped this company do this in Y time. Cool. And the CTA. This is a big one, and this could change your whole cold email campaign. For example, let's say you have an offer. You're sending cold emails. You sent about 2,000. If you don't get replies and you see people are responding negatively, your emails are going through, but people are just getting annoyed or not replying well in a way, then you want to change your CTA or you want to change your offer. We've seen changes just changing the CTA. So there's 3 levels we use, and that's interest-based, meeting-based, and value-based. So interest-based would be like open to learning more, or would this be of interest? Just seeing if this is relevant to them, basically, if they're interested. The next would be meeting-based. Do you want to hop on a quick 15 sometime this week for a quick discussion? Or this one was want to hop on a quick call early next week to discuss more. And there's value-based. Made a quick breakdown for you. Can I send it here? This one tends to work the best. Can't lie. And then we like to use PS signs. So in our PS lines, it's normally to exactly build relevance, personalization, or social proof. Sometimes a risk reversal. Hopefully that's making sense for you guys so far. And the next would be campaign management. So pre-launch, 1 to 2 days before actually going live with our campaign, we like to do these checks here. So is everything spin text? Make sure there's no spam words. So we like to use Spam Meteor. And, this just shows spam words in your cold email that you should change. And the word count. We like to have a word count under 80 words. Send in plain text, no HTMLs. Run a spam test. So make sure your inboxes are actually landing in the inbox. Or make sure your emails are actually landing in the inbox. Send a test email to yourself to make sure it's landing again in the inbox. And then just reread the email from your ICP's mind. And actually, before doing this, I would sleep on it before. So after writing copy, sleep on it, come back to the email and be like, if I read this from my ICP's mind, would I reply to it genuinely? Like, would I actually take the sweet time out of my day to reply to this guy, this random dude, over cold email in my busy life, in my busy schedule? That is a framework we've used constantly throughout running and managing campaigns that has helped us a lot. Next, copy checklist. Test different levels of commitment. What I said before. So in your cold emails, you want to test one at a time, I recommend. So let's just say you have 3 different variations of sequence 1. Try testing the same CTA. That helps us get the highest quality data, and it keeps things consistent. If that doesn't work after, let's just say, 1,000 emails, then we would change the level of commitment in general. Is the email scannable and easy to read? Like I said earlier, less than 80 words. Okay? You want to keep your emails short and easy to read. Every time we've done that, our reply rates have gone up. We've booked more meetings. Long emails do not work. Value packing, not even value pack, talking about yourself over 100 words is not the move in 2026. Are you making it about them or you? Is there more you than I or we? This is a big one I see. In some of your guys' cold emails, it's a bunch of we and I. That is how you fucking get spam. Like, that's how you get blocked on email. That's how you get people telling you to unsub. That's how you get people telling you to fuck off. You want to make it about them. You want the email to have the word you all around it. It should be you, your. Mind if, like, I'm sure you guys know what I'm trying to put down, but make it sound more specific, okay? Instead of just saying more leads, say we can connect you with 5 to 10 new business owners who are actively looking for agency services. These things go a long way. Specificity in your emails is important. We've had multiple times where we just weren't specific enough. We changed one thing that made it more specific, and our campaign started working again. Like, you want to think, if you say something, how does this happen? Or how much can I get them this? How quick will this take? What does this mean exactly? And you want to just dumb it down. 8th grade reading level, okay? When we launch, one of the main indicators that lets us know we're landing in the inbox is out of office messages. So if you launch and you're getting those OOOs, it means most likely that your emails are landing in the inbox and you're safe. Let it run, okay? If not, I would check deliverability again. Make sure your inboxes are healthy, over 98%, like we discussed earlier. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Reply within 5 minutes. Big one here. We recently got off a call with the founder of RevReply, and this is what we're using now in our agency. And I'll show you guys what it is. RevReply. What this does, it unifies all of our email workplaces in one section. So we can actually reply to them without having to switch through 6-7 different workplaces at once. And this is probably more so when you're dealing with cold emails at scale and a bunch of different clients. But it also segments them into 5 different sections. And what this does is each time a reply comes in, it shows the reply here, and then it automatically generates a new reply to them. And all we have to do is approve it here. I'm not sure you guys can see that. All we have to do is click approve, and then it actually sends the email through Email Bison, our sequencer. So we have like 6-7 different client accounts connected in this workspace right here. And every time an interested comes in, we see the email. For example, this guy, he was interested. Okay, please send some info, and then it generates a reply for us, and it connects our calendar to it as well. So it reads our calendar, sees what times are available, and it gives those times in this format, which statistically performs the best across cold emails. The guy we were talking to, the founder of this company, he says 40% of meetings booked on cold email are using this exact framework. So how does day at time zone or day at time zone work for a quick intro call? And then alternatively, if you need to work, grab my calendar here, and then our client's name, whatever, and all we have to do is click approve, and then it sends the email out through the sequencer we use, and it's all segmented between these 5. So just makes inbox management 10 times easier. Replies get out faster. It's more organized. Next, when you launch, do not pause your campaigns unless your reply rate is just like 0%, bro. You want to keep your campaigns running until you collect a good portion of data until you can make a decision. A lot of guys, they launch their campaigns for a couple days, send like 300 emails, and they're like, fuck, dude, this campaign is not working anymore. Or send 1,000 emails, and they're like, this campaign's not working anymore. I have to do something new. Don't do that, bro. Let it collect data. All right, next is KPIs, okay? After you sent 2,000 emails, you want to be able to make a decision based off of the data you have collected. So we segment this between 2 different levels. One is people in companies between 50 and 500 employees, and people in companies between 5 and 50 employees. So for the 50 and 500, we like to see around 1 to 2 meetings booked, our reply rate around 1 to 1.5%, and at least 35 leads generated, positive replies. In the 5 to 50 level, we like to see 3 to 5 meetings booked, around a 2% reply rate, and at least 5 to 10 leads generated. And after we see this, we are able to diagnose, okay, if reply rate is good and the KPIs are not hitting, the leads aren't generating, we're not getting meetings booked, then we have to fix the offer or the level of commitment. If reply rate does not check off after 1,000 emails, then run placement tests spam checks, and fix the copy. If leads are generated and no meetings booked, offer is good, but you have to frame the lead mag better, fix reply follow-ups, add touch points on LinkedIn. If all check off, that's a successful campaign. Study it, break it down, and expand it using the data. Cool. Follow-up strategy. Follow up until you get a clear yes or no, okay? That's a big one. You want to follow up until you get a clear yes or no. Keep on following up with value. Do not just be like, hey, bumping this up. Hey, did you get my last email? That shit's annoying, okay? Follow up, like after they reply, and this is what I mean, like after they reply, sorry. You want to follow up until they say yes or no. And this is a study from Harvard, and it's called the 7 touch point study. And basically, it takes 7 touch points to convert a cold prospect, someone that doesn't know you, into a paying customer. So that's why we like to follow up a bunch of times. The more they see your name, the more they see your commitment, the more they're likely to reply to you. We've had instances where people reply back just off of persistence. They're like, I appreciate the persistence. Let's hop on a call. And sometimes you'll have to make up reasons as to why you're following up. And you got to be creative, you know? Like, I was going through my emails and realized we never got to connect. Or if you offered a lead, if you offered some sort of value, you know, you can just be like, hey, I still have those things that I made for you. And then later on be like, hey, I actually came up with something new. Do you want me to send it over? Like, keep on coming up with value. Try to help them out. And yeah, the next is the offer. So the offer will make or break your campaigns. I'm going to show you guys something real quick. And we have used this multiple times to make sure our offers are actually working. But it's an offer audit, okay? So before you onboard a client, or even for yourself, whatever you're doing, you want to see how many other people are promoting the same thing to the same prospects, okay? So think about it. How many other lead gen agencies are targeting B2B SaaS founders? Thousands. So that tells you have to be different, okay? Your basic offer of lead gen is not going to perform well. You're going to have to do something. And that goes back to what type of campaign you're going to run. In this case, I would go to the lead mag campaign because you're actually offering something up front that takes up your time, and people love that. It builds reciprocity, it builds likability. So ask yourself, how can we make it more unique and specific? How can we make it sound different? Okay. How can we change the positioning? Can we find a more narrow niche? So let's say you're in health tech. Instead of health tech, try going a bit deeper and target telemedicine companies. Just an example. If offer is not sticking, I would rewrite the copy to focus entirely on their problems and outcomes. Test softer CTA, so different levels of commitment. Don't copy everyone else. And remove any sentences about us, our company, our process, unless it's social proof. Then you can layer in more trust. But yeah, I'm going to go back to the offer now. So, offer will make or break your campaign. You want to do the audit before making your offers, okay? One thing we see a lot of is full service pitching, and that is going to fucking kill your campaigns. You want to keep the offer simple, one service offering. So if you guys are doing, let's just say you work with e-com brands, if you're doing ads, CRO, product, page optimize, like all these things, you want to pitch one thing at a time. So only focus on CRO. Make that your offer and make it more unique, make it more specific to the audience. Okay? So pick an offer that is already proven to work and make it sound better. It's something we've done multiple times. If you're in the cold email space, lead gen agency space, I'm sure there's a bunch of offers people are using around cold email, and you just want to expand on it and make it better, make it more specific to the audience you're targeting. Use different wording instead of just saying using cold email, saying using our like private cold email system or something like that. You know, components of a great offer. It removes risk, so you want to use words like safely or without risk or whatever. It has to be easy on the client, okay? Has to sound easy. Has to sound easy to do. Like, you're not going to change up their whole operations to do this, okay? Like, you want to make it very low commitment. Without, like, one thing we like to use after saying our offer is without adding any work on your end. Just to show them that it's very, like, it's easy for them. Next is fast turnaround. It has to be quick. How fast can it be done? Make the value obvious, you know? Does it make money? Does it save time? Does it save money? Be specific. How much does it save? How much money will you make? How much time will you save? And how long, you know? Next, targeting. So right now we are using, we're not using A-Leads anymore. It was not the best. Right now we're using Apollo and a bit of clay. We are paying for the full Apollo plan right now. It's pretty expensive, but man, every time we used a third-party scraper, the data quality was not the best, and we just got a bunch of garbage, Next, pick a niche you know well and that already works. Sometimes you don't already know this, and honestly, sometimes when you're picking less saturated niches, your reply rates are going to skyrocket, and your campaigns will actually perform much better. So next, every filter matters. This is what we normally filter off of, like location, how many employees, and the industry, okay? So let's just say there are 5 to 50 employees. Normally, if they're 5 to 50, we like to target the main decision makers, which are founders, co-founders, presidents, CEOs. You want to think, like, what do they care about? What do they actually care about? Okay. Most times, if you have an offer and it's something they're not thinking about often, or they don't have a need for, you want to frame the copy in a way where it ties into their needs and like what they actually care about. So you want to do that research beforehand. So when you make the copy, it ties into what they care about the most. Pay attention to founding year. Don't worry about that too much. Industry. Try going for the sub niches. Like I said earlier, if you're targeting health tech, that's a pretty broad niche. It's wide, and there's probably a lot of people pitching these companies whatever you sell. So get into a more narrow niche where it's more not new, but it's more unique. Like you can help a specific type of company do this. Make sure you speak their language. You want to max their tone, and make sure the TAM is at least 50,000. Sometimes you can't do this, but yeah. Next is scaling. After you ran out of this TAM here, and if it's winning, if it's performing well, you need to scale it somehow. What we do on scaling is starting with different job roles now. So if you go past 5 to 50, those job roles are always going to change. So then you want to ask yourself, what type of people or what job roles would care about what I'm selling naturally? And you want to target those people, okay? Increase company size gradually. So like I said, instead of 5 to 50, try 50 to 200. Expand it to different countries. So if you're targeting US, you want to get into Canada, UK, Australia, New Zealand. Expand that TAM. And again, if you start off in telemedicine, then you can slowly start to reach out to other niches within health tech, for example. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys got value out of this video. And if you guys are actively trying to get your cold emails to work or want to start your own cold email agency, let's run a call. I'm down to help however I can. I'm super laid back. I'm actively in the trenches with this. So I'll leave a link in the description below to fill out a form, and we can hop on a call. Also, we have a bunch of free resources down below. That calculator I use will be in the description. We also have a bunch more free resources you guys can use to actually be successful with sending cold emails. And yeah, God bless and take care.